minutes with you all just to talk about how we're feeling and some things that we can do to hopefully feel better, both at work and at home. So we're going to start off with a deep breath. Now, you might be familiar with breath work, or maybe this is going to be your first deep breath of the day, but this is our physiological sigh. So it's something that we'll talk about in a moment, but I want us to just try it together. So what that entails is a big inhale through the nose, another breath in, and then a sigh out through the mouth. All right, so let's try that together. Big inhale, breathe in, and exhale. Take that twice more at your own pace.
Anyways, I just wanted to update you.
That sounds awesome.
And exhale out. So believe it or not, that is one of the quickest ways for us to signal to our body that we are in a safe space. It's through our breath. So breath is something that we have with us from the day we're born until the day we die. And very rarely are we educated on how to use it to alleviate the day-to-day stressors or use it just to feel a little bit more well in our body. So we are going to talk about the breath today, and then we're also together for a few more weeks. So today we're going to focus on breath work. We all have our breath, our body, and our brain. So those are the three things that I want us to think about when we are focusing on our well-being and how we can feel a little bit more well in our body. Starting off with that physiological sigh, what that is going to do is take us out of our fight or flight and into our rest and digest. So this might be familiar for many of you. Breath work is one of the quickest ways to do that. So we're either living in this fight or flight, or we're living in rest and digest. And until we know some of the techniques and the ways to switch over to rest and digest, some of us are living in that constant state of stress. So breath work, tapping in with your breath, noticing your breath. We don't necessarily need an entire day to reset. What I want us to kind of learn in today's session and in the next few weeks is that sometimes the tiny little moments, simply pausing to check in with ourselves, pausing to focus on our breath, can have a profound impact on our day-to-day lives. So we're focusing on the breath, the body, and the brain, three things that we always have with us. The physiological sigh, that inhale, taking in a little bit more air, and then a full exhale through the mouth is one of the quickest ways to kind of reset. The next thing I want to introduce to all of us is progressive muscle relaxation. So these are hopefully things that you can do without anyone really knowing. So we don't need a whole bunch of tools. Again, we're focusing on what we already have, but this is a great way to kind of engage the body with our breath work. So we're going to inhale and we're tightening every muscle in our body, and then we're using that exhale to release and relax. Now, this is only effective if you're doing it fully. So inhale, tighten, squeeze. And then exhale, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax your face and hands. We'll take that 3 times together. So give it a try, getting comfortable in your seat, breathing in, tighten and squeeze. And exhale, release. Twice more at your own pace. Inhale, tighten, squeeze. Exhale, fully let go when you're ready. Good. Take that one more time. Tighten and squeeze. And exhale, releasing back into your seat. It is my hope that you feel a little bit of that benefit already just from doing something with your body, with your breath, to try to promote that feeling of well-being. All right. And this next one is super, super underrated. We have 24 hours in a day. We have over 1,000 minutes in a day. I understand that sometimes taking a 5-minute reset or a 10-minute reset can be a little bit challenging, but we're going to try together a 1-minute reset. Okay, so depending on where you are, whether you're in the office, whether you're on your lunch break, we're going to sit together for 1 minute and just breathe. If this is your first time ever doing this, this might be very challenging. This might be the hardest thing that you've done today, or will do this week. But I challenge you here to sit still for 1 minute and just focus on your breath. Okay. If you need something tangible or if you would like to count, I encourage you to do an inhale to 4 and an exhale to 6. So we're focusing on lengthening that breath out, really giving ourselves an opportunity here to drop in to that rest and digest state. All right, this is a practice. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Feel free to close your eyes. Get as comfortable as you possibly can in your space. 1 minute for well-being. Here we go. Focusing on your breath. We're not rushing through this. 10 more seconds here. Just breathe. On your next exhale, maybe wiggle your fingers and toes or shoulders and come back to your setting. Blinking the eyes open. All right, my friends. So this is going to be a little bit of interaction here. We have a chat box, and I would love to hear how that was for you. So one thing that you noticed in that minute, or perhaps one thing that you can realistically see yourself doing moving forward. So is it that physiological sigh? Is it that progressive muscle relaxation, the tensioning, and then the releasing with your breath, or perhaps the 1 minute of stillness and silence? I would love to hear from you. We're going to open up the floor. So just go ahead and type in to our chat box what's one thing that maybe you noticed in that minute of breathing, or one thing that you can realistically see yourself doing moving forward. That minute felt very freeing. Progressive muscle relaxation. Awesome. That is a great tool for sleep as well. If you're someone that struggles to fall asleep, inhale, tightening all of your muscles, and then using that exhale to release can be very, very beneficial. But I would love to hear from you. If you're willing to participate, the sigh for sure. Wonderful. Noticing a slower heart rate. That's an amazing observation, especially if you have a heart rate tracker or you're simply just noticing what that breath can do. Very calming and needed. That minute felt like an eternity. I can totally relate to that. If we think about how much time we spend in that go, 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 that fight or flight, then this can very, very much be a change in pace. So maybe we're noticing some different things as we take the time to slow down and to breathe. Wonderful. Thank you all for participating. And that's just a good little check-in, right? So it's 1 minute and then just noticing what comes up for you without any judgment. I think that is the biggest thing as well. If your mind is running and busy for the whole minute, that doesn't mean that you failed. If you lose track of your breath, that doesn't mean that you're not doing this properly. One thing that I want Duncan Aviation as a whole to embrace is that well-being at work and well-being at home are a practice. And so every single day, when we breathe a little bit deeper, when we check in a little bit more, when we talk to our teammates and our coworkers about how we're feeling and about what we need, that can have a transformational impact on the place that you're showing up to work every single day, right? We already spend so much time at work. So can this space, this place, become a spot where we're breathing a little bit deeper, moving a little bit slower, still being productive, but taking care of ourselves along the way. All right. I have no doubt that everyone here today has at least 60 seconds in their day, 1 minute, to tap into some of these practices. So just a reminder, we went over the physiological sigh, which is a big breath in, taking in a little more air, and then a full exhale slowly. Remembering to breathe out all the way, okay? That's where we really get our benefit from the progressive muscle relaxation. So tension breathing, inhale, tightening, squeezing, and then exhale, releasing and letting go. Super beneficial. And then that mindful pause. So 1 minute of your day, perhaps focusing only on lengthening your exhale. Okay, so breathing in for 4, breathing out for 6, giving yourself that time to get into the rest and digest. All right, so this isn't about adding more to your plate. This is just reminding you that you have time. All right, and it doesn't take a lot of time to focus on our well-being. So next week, we're going to focus on not just being busy, but how we can sprinkle in a little bit more well-being into our workday. We're going to focus on a 3-minute reset, which is a little bit longer period of time, but it's going to give you an opportunity to check in with how you're feeling and perhaps identify some things that you can do a little bit differently to feel more well. So we do have 3 more minutes left. I want to open it up to any questions that you have about breath work, any questions that you have about going from that fight or flight into that rest or digest, or even if you want to just share a benefit of today's session, I would love to hear that from you as well. You can use the chat, or if you want to turn your camera on, you can go ahead and ask me any questions that you might have. We're going to be here same time, same place next week. I applaud you all for taking the time today to step away from the forever going to-do list that I'm sure you all have, and check in with your well-being. I want to applaud Duncan Aviation for making this a priority. Any questions or comments about today beyond thank you so much, beyond what you've already shared? The biggest thing is that this is a practice. So remember, continue it. We're building on this day after day, week after week. Thank you very much. I hope you all can take those 3 tools and run with them, share them with your team members that weren't here today, take them home and share them with your family members. That's really how we continue to create a culture of well-being, both at work and home. So thank you all.
Thanks everyone for joining today, and we do hope to see you next week. These will be recorded, so if you want to pull from this in the future, they will be uploaded to the Duncan Aviation Wellness YouTube page, and I'm happy to send that link over to you guys once it's uploaded.
All right, hope to see you all next week, same place, same time. Thank you again, Kristen. Thank you, team.